Hey everyone, Marty Snyder, Kyle Petty, and Dale Jarrett joining you here after William Byron's big win at Watkins Glen, his fifth of the year. I mean, just absolutely stockpiling the playoff points at this point. DJ, how important is it that the 24 team, who had a slide since their Atlanta win a few races ago, wins a race this late in the regular season going into the playoffs?
Hugely important for a lot of reasons. The playoff points are something that could possibly be very beneficial if they happen to get into one of those so-called little slides that they find themselves in occasionally. But they've amassed so many points now. They're probably going to finish third in the regular season points, which is going to get them 9 more playoff points to work with. So they can work their way through this. I think that the thing that might be the biggest thing that I believe this just completes, not only in William Byron's mind that he can win at any type of racetrack, but now he sent a message to everyone else that you have to consider me a threat wherever we go. And when you do that, then you realize you can win at every type of track that you might encounter through the playoffs. And that, in my opinion, right now, we kind of have to put him out there, or I have to put him out there as the favorite to be a part of the championship four.
Yeah, listen, 5 wins in a season. After we went through last season and we thought we were going to have 36 different winners, I never thought that we would see another season like this from a driver, really, honestly. I mean, it made me question whether we were going to see 5, 6, 7 wins. He could have that Kevin Harvick, that Jeff Gordon type season where you have 8, 9, 10 wins by the time we roll through the playoffs. They're that type of team. He and Rudy are that type of group where they can get hot. They can get cold, and we've seen them go cold through the summers, the last couple of summers, but they can get hot. And I think yesterday on pre-race, Marty, and you know what? We had a category, opportunity. Who is this an opportunity for? And I said, it's an opportunity for William Byron to reassess and reestablish himself as a championship favorite. And I think he went out and did it big time, like big time drivers do. And I agree with Dale Jarrett wholeheartedly. This is a well-rounded driver. This is a well-rounded team that when they roll into a garage area anywhere from Daytona to Watkins Glen to Bristol, Tennessee, they know they can get it done. And the other guys have to take note of them.
DJ, William Byron didn't come up the conventional way, did he? Certainly not like you and Kyle came into the Cup Series. How have you seen him mature during this breakout season?
Yeah, it's really been incredible to watch this young man. You think about how quickly everything has taken place in his racing career. I mean, not actually racing and getting started. He started with iRacing, and then finally, I think, got in a Legends car at 15 and a stock car for the first time at 16. Soon went on to win an Xfinity championship, and then by 19, he's running in the Cup Series. And he seems like he should be way older than 25 because of the experience that we have seen with him. But the maturity that we've seen, this level of a driver willing to do whatever is needed to listen to Jeff Gordon talk about how dedicated William Byron is each and every week, the effort that he puts forth. He's still iRacing because he feels like that's his best way to go. But all the information that he wants from the team about each and every weekend is a refreshing way to do it. So I think it's something different where, a number of years ago, back in the 90s, every owner had to have the next Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart coming out of the open wheel ranks. Now maybe they're going to start looking at some of these iRacers that are there and getting their next driver from that side.
Yeah, when Dell and I were his age, this time of year, we were getting ready for two-a-days for high school football, man. And he was honing his skills and learning the skills that it took to be where he was at yesterday. And that's what William Byron was doing. Totally different approach to the sport. I do believe, and Dale touched on it, I do believe that with all that iRacing experience, with all the experience in late models and everything else that he's done, he's finally catching up to it in between his ears. Mentally, he is there. Mentally, he is on top of his game. And he has learned so much. If you talk to Jeff, if you talk to Max Pappas, he gave Max huge props yesterday for helping him learn to be a road racer. He is a sponge. He is a sponge in meetings, they say. He is a sponge with the history of the sport, with everything about the sport. He wants to make himself the best race car driver, talent-wise and between his ears, mentally. and step up to those challenges. And we've seen it in the past. We saw it last year before at Bristol. He goes in there and has to make something happen for himself. There's been moments where he's had that Gordon-esque quality and that Jarrett-esque quality where they could put the car on their back and carry it and make something happen when they didn't have a car that was going to finish second, wasn't going to win the race, but they were going to make something happen and score the points they needed. And we've seen him do that. And I think that comes with setting behind in the real world, not in the virtual world, in the real world, with Denny Hamlin hammering on you, with Kyle Busch beating on you. And that's what he's learned over these last few years. And listen, man, to be William Byron in this sport right now, and to be here and be able to watch it, it's going to be fun to watch, because we're going to get to watch a Jeff Gordon or a Jimmy Johnson or a Dale Jarrett or a Tony Stewart. We're going to get to watch their careers blossom. Yeah,
probably the next driver we're looking at that we talk about who could win 60 races. I think this is the name William Byron that comes in my mind first.
Big accolades coming from the Hall of Famer there. So let's talk about his teammate, Chase Elliott, DJ. They run out of fuel, and there's a lot going on with that team. We heard the radio transmissions as well. But let's give Alan Gustafson credit for being willing to push it to the edge. Them pitting early is the reason they gained half of their track position from starting 15th. But how far outside of their comfort zone were they yesterday in pushing that strategy?
Well, way outside. This is not what they do. This is not how they won a championship and how they go about races through the regular season and trying to make things happen. They've always had a great driver and a fast race car, and that's how they got to victory lane and competed at a high level. Now they're having to do something they're not comfortable with. It's like taking a right-handed batter and saying, now for the next 10 games now, you've got to bat left-handed, figure it out. And that's kind of where they've been, because it's so totally different than what they do. And then a lot of times when you're trying to do something that you're not accustomed to doing and not comfortable doing, then mistakes are made. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. They didn't have the speed to keep up. They could have employed, as it turns out, probably any and every strategy that's ever been thought of, and they weren't going to beat their teammate yesterday. But this, in my mind, is when mistakes happen. But the one thing about it, with all of this said and done, they still have a chance. They've got one more race that there is a possibility there.
Yeah, and that is a great point that Dale just made. When you run first, second, third, fourth, you're racing a different race than the guy that's running 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And you're definitely running a different race than the guy that's running 15th to 20th. I blame Michael McDowell and Front Row Motorsports, because I think they broke the spirit and broke the back of this team at Indianapolis. It was just they showed up at this race at Watkins Glen, and Chase said it. Man, he just threw it away on Saturday. And their weekend starts on Saturday. It starts in qualifying. They qualified good at Indy. They put themselves in a hole in qualifying on Saturday at Watkins Glen. And they could never dig out of it without changing their game. And it's just like Dale said, when you change your game and you're not used to playing that game, and Alan's not used to playing that game, and Chase, they're not used to playing that game. They're used to playing the game that makes everybody else play a different game. They controlled the game. They're not in control of this game, and they were never in control of the game yesterday and control of the race. So they had to throw out a strategy that they felt would put them in the game. First call, thought it was a great call. Man, they picked up 6 or 7 positions, put themselves right in the heart of where it could have been if they caught a caution, if this. And now you're back to if this happens, when this happens, this might happen. And they're not used to playing that game. They're used to making things happen.
Thanks for joining us for Motormouths, presented by Toyota.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.